What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm just going to be giving you guys a quick market update and analysis because we are here in Miami for the Bitcoin Miami 2022 conference. And I don't think my typical live streaming schedule is going to work out here. So I'm going to be giving you guys these pre-recorded market update videos so you guys aren't in the dark. You know what I'm thinking, my general market sentiment, and where I'm looking for my next trades, just so I can keep you guys updated. And then if I have time where I could just sneak into the hotel room and jump on a quick live, I definitely will do that. But keep a lookout for these market update videos because this is really what I'm going to be aiming to get out, at least so you guys can be updated on what I'm thinking. So without further ado, let's jump into the charts and do a little bit of analysis. So starting off on the Bitcoin monthly chart, we're actually going to start on a longer time frame today. Now, there's some stuff to look at here. We do have, money flow not really curving up, but kind of flattening out here. But we do have this VWAP, right, coming up to the zero line. Now, this is typically a pretty bullish signal, right? When you get these crossovers, you do get moves up. Historically, you had a crossover here, boom, you came up, right? Had another crossover here, you came up, came back down before coming up again and having this big run up right here, which was obviously the beginning of this bull market. But definitely worth noting that you have this VWAP coming up towards the zero line. Now, you do want to remember, as I always say, there is a chance that you could come up and get rejected at the zero line and just come back down, which would result in a pretty harsh, drop in price. But we're just going to have to see how this plays out. But as of right now, this does look pretty good that we are curving up towards the zero line. Like I said, typically a pretty bullish sign. Now, coming over to the 2-week, we do have the green dot printing on the momentum wave currently, right? We do have about 4 days left to confirm this. It is looking good. I mean, unless we come down a lot, I think we will definitely confirm this, which would be a pretty good sign for some continuated bullish action, right? This is the 2-week, so pretty high time frame here. Now coming on down to the weekly chart, you'll see we do have the VWAP starting to curve down. We do have money flow starting to curve down, right? You can see that right here. And, I would say, as you guys know, I do feel pretty bearish about the weekly overall. Now, when we did get this VWAP crossover, I was saying that it could turn around, and we still could see it turn around here. Definitely a good sign that the VWAP did come up and money flow found support on the zero line here and came back up. But we do want to remember, right, I cover this a lot, we do want to remember what happened in 2018 when we had the green money flow wave cross into the red, right? We were coming down, and then as the money flow crossed over into the red on the weekly time frame, we did get another, I believe that's about a 50% drop, right? So we did see that last time we had a money flow crossover. So although we did see things turn around a little bit here and we had the money flow bouncing off the zero line coming back up, as well as the VWAP crossing over and coming up, this is looking better than it has looked in the past. But you do want to remember the overall bearish structure on market cipher B being that the money flow is coming down. So really what we just want to keep an eye on here is for that money flow crossover into the red, because that's typically where we see things get very bloody. So definitely keeping an eye on this, definitely looking better than it has in the past, right? We did come up a lot, so it would be expected that the VWAP's going to be coming down and money flow would kind of cool off a little bit. But we want to watch this money flow crossover into the red to make sure that we're not going to get another crazy 50% drop or so. Might be a little bit less than that, as the market has matured a bit since the last time in 2018. So maybe we don't see a 50% drop, but totally possible. So just want to keep an eye on that. Now, I did just want to point this out, right? Taking a look at the, the higher daily time frames, right? 5-day VWAP coming down, but money flow crossing over into the green. That's definitely a great sign. Now you see on the 4-day, we have this nice, money flow coming up smoothly towards that zero line, looking like it wants to cross over, but we do have the VWAP coming down, worth noting. And then the 3-day, kind of the same story here, right? We crossed into the green, now we're back in the red, but generally it's coming up very, very, looks pretty good for the most part, although we did dip back into the red, generally we are coming up, right? So you might see something play out like this, where we have money flow dip back into the red a little bit and then just come back into a nice green wave, right? Which would make the money flow just generally curving up, right? Even if we are curving into the red. So not looking horrible, but you do want to understand that you do have that VWAP coming down. So this red money flow wave might come down just a little bit. And then the 2-day, kind of the same thing. You have money flow generally coming up, VWAP below the 0 line. So you could see this VWAP curve up and drag the money flow up higher. So on the longer daily time frames, it does look pretty good, as money flow is curving to the upside for the most part, just generally coming up, money coming into the asset. So definitely, somewhat of a good sign. But you do want to remember that the VWAP on a lot of these time frames is going down. And if you guys are in our Discord, link will be in the description below. If you're not and you do want to join, it's totally free. I was talking in there saying that I was expecting things to move, sideways or slightly bearish based off of the VWAPs coming down as the money flows are coming up. And we do have the money flow on the daily, which let's go on over to the daily right now. Now, we do have the daily money flow starting to curve down as the VWAP keeps getting rejected at the 0 line. So VWAP coming down, money flow is coming down, right? And let's just dig in here a little bit and see what we're looking at here. Now, obviously, we did break out of this ascending triangle pattern, right? This white range here with this diagonal white line here. We were in this ascending triangle and we broke out, came into some major resistance and got rejected, and we are now coming back down to test the top of this triangle right at about 44,800, right? Right here you can see we're coming down, and we will zoom into the smaller time frame so we can get a better idea of the price action happening right on this level. But we are coming down to test the top of this ascending triangle. Now this is very important because this ascending triangle, the top range here of the ascending triangle, has acted as major resistance, right? So we get rejected here, we got rejected here, we got rejected here, we got rejected here, and then we bounced a little bit before breaking out. And then if you wanted to count this too, we kind of bounced right here on this level as well. So being that it acted as such strong resistance, we would want to see this turn into some pretty strong support. I think there's a good chance we get a bounce here, but you want to be careful, right? Because Bitcoin is essentially at a decision making point right here, as if we do break back down into this ascending triangle, I personally believe we could come down a bit more, right? And let's go ahead and zoom into the 4 hours so we can get a little bit of a closer look at what we have going on here. Now, you can see we are starting to dip below this point. Now, if we do break this ascending triangle and we do break back in, I do think there is probably, a good chance that, we test around 43, if not 42. We do have our line right here at 42. I think this would act as very, very, very strong support, right? But 43 should probably act as some decent support as well. Hopefully we don't go below 43, but if we do, 42 is right below there. And then, another thing you want to realize, right? We did get rejected. We had the 382 fib level up here, right? So we broke out, came above it, came back down, and we got rejected, and now we're coming back down to test this level of resistance. We're trying to flip it into support, right? But if we do break in here, there is a chance that we could come all the way back down into, right? We break into the ascending triangle. Maybe we come up to back test this as resistance, and we start to work our way maybe at 42. Obviously, hopefully we can get a bounce back out at this point, but there is a chance that we could come all the way back down to the bottom of this ascending triangle. Right now, depending on if it happens over here or how fast we come down, that price would change because this support line is coming up, right? So the later we hit it, the higher that price would be, and the earlier we hit it, the lower that price would be. But it's in the 39,000 range, right? So this is about 39.4, this is about 39.5 or 6. I do think there could be a chance that we could come back down to test the bottom of this triangle again. Not what I would want to see, but definitely possible. So these are some things you want to keep in mind while you're looking at the charts. Now let's just go down to the 1 hour and zoom in a little bit more and see how price is interacting on the top of this resistance line. And as you can see, we are starting to lose it. That's actually, let's go down to the 15-minute and go into our micro time frames, right? So we did wick below it. We are now, price is sitting in the middle of this range, right? So we really don't want to see us break this. We want to see a strong bounce off of this level. But looking at, money flow on Market Cipher B, you are pretty deep in the red here on the 15-minute. Hopefully you can get, you can bottom out, get a green dot here, get a nice bullish divergence here on the 15-minute and come back up to test these levels, because we really don't want to break the top of this resistance. We really don't want to break this resistance at the top of the ascending triangle, as it's, likely we would come back into the triangle and possibly come down near 42, if not come down and test the bottom of that ascending triangle, like I just said, in the 39K range, right? So we really want to hold this level, but we are starting to wick below it. We have to see if we can hold it. But we do have money flow, generally just coming down here. If you come and look at we'll look at the 30-minute, right? Money flow in the red. Let's look at the 90-minute. Money flow in the red. So there is room to continue coming down a little bit here. I'm hoping we can bottom out, right? No bullish divergence here, as this momentum wave is lower than this one. So that's kind of our hope on the 1 hour. If we were to get a bullish divergence on this level, that would make for a good, long position, right? A nice scalp long if you had that bullish divergence, but you do not. So you might be coming down a little bit more here. Now you are kind of decently in the red, so it's not impossible to turn around, but nothing screaming, put a long in off of this level right now, which kind of disappoints me, because I don't really want to break this level, but it's not end all be all if we do break this level, as we do have 43K, 42K, which I think will act as really good support. Now looking at the 2 hour, right, money flow coming down. 3 hour, money flow kind of flat here, but in the red, right? Nothing screaming that we're coming right up off of this level. So this kind of, I'm going to kind of stick to my general sentiment, right? We're going to be moving, generally sideways, maybe a little bit bearish, just because of the lower time frames. The money flow is coming out. But then on the contrary, we do have the monthly, we do have that monthly VWAP curving up. We have the 2-week green dot, right? And then also on these higher daily time frames, you do have money flow coming up. So I would say, short term, I am feeling a little bit more bearish in the immediate short term, just because of the way the lower time frames look. But the longer time frames look good, right? This is the 4-day, right? Money flow coming up, VWAP coming down. So as these VWAPs come down and money flow is coming out on the lower time frames, I think we do have room to come down a little bit more. But generally money flow coming up on these higher daily time frames is typically a pretty good sign. So guys, I think that's all I got for this one. I just kind of wanted to give you guys, a little bit of a market update. I don't want to keep you guys in the dark as we are traveling for the Bitcoin Miami 2022 conference. I am going to try my best to get these videos out to you every day, if not multiple times a day. Hopefully I could jump on a stream, but I just don't know my schedule. So, I don't want to promise anything and then not deliver, but definitely keep a lookout for these videos, because I will be putting these out to keep you guys updated. But just remember, short term, I'm feeling a little bit more bearish. I think we have room to come down, just due to those lower time frames having money flow coming out. But I do think we can still hold this bullish momentum with the way the longer time frames are looking, minus the weekly, right? The weekly kind of just has never really been looking the best lately. So that's kind of my general sentiment, guys. If you are looking for some trades, right? Let's just jump right back into the charts. If you are looking for some trades, these are some levels you can watch. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Now, I would say watch this level, top of the ascending triangle, right? Would be a decent place to get a bounce off of, but as we zoomed in earlier, we can see we are starting to wick below. You would want to see some bullish divergences forming on these support levels as we come down to them. So for example, if you have price made a low here and a lower low here. So you would want to see on market cipher B, you would want to see that we have a low here and a higher low here, which we do not have. But as we approach these levels, these are some things that you can look for to see if it would be a good trade, right? So as you approach the level, you want to look for the bullish divergence for a possible scalp long, right? And I would say this level, but it does look like we are starting to lose it as we zoom in. We are coming through it. So, you still could get a bullish divergence here on the 15-minute, but I would wait just to, there's no green dot. You want to wait for a confirmed green dot. But this is what you could look for at these levels. So this is the one level I'd be looking for bullish divergences, right? If you don't get them, if we zoom out a little bit, I do think about 43. I do think about 43K. This is a little bit of a rough line, but generally 43K. I think we can see some nice bounces there. So another level I would watch is 43K. And then you do have 42K right underneath that to be looking for some bullish divergences for a nice bounce. However, I would be very cautious, right? Because if we do break back into this ascending triangle into here, I do think there is a chance, right? Not definitely going to happen, but there is a chance we can come back down, test the bottom of that triangle. But another thing you can look for on the short side is you can look for price to break below this level of support and come back up and test it as resistance, right? And then depending on what market cipher B looks like, right? You always want to be using your confirmations, but you want to wait for that retest for a possible short position, maybe down to this level or even 42 or lower, depending on how low we can go. But I did just want to point out those levels for you guys if you are looking for trades. So those are the levels I'm watching. Remember, I am feeling a little slightly bearish in the very immediate short term. But, things don't look horrible. It's not like we're losing money, losing money flow on, the super long time frames. The longer daily time frames do look pretty decent, but I do think we do have a little bit more room to come down. So pray that we don't go back into that ascending triangle. Hopefully we don't have to go back down and test the bottom of that ascending triangle in the 39K range. That would be really boring, and, it would just kind of negate all the progress we've already made. But I hope this helps you guys out. I hope this gives you a little bit of clarity on, what I'm seeing on the charts, the levels I'm watching, and how I'm feeling just generally. So just pray for the top of that ascending triangle to act as strong support as it acted as strong resistance on the way up. That's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide.